from Colombia, South America. My major is political science. I'm a senior graduating on May 2017. I would like to make a master's degree in public government, and I'm planning to go to Chicago or Boston, both of these cities. So let's see what happens, and yeah, I can continue. This is the table of contents. We have the information about myself, table of contents for purpose of the study, research questions, contributions of the study, methodology, research design, data collection, data analysis, findings, recommendations, strengths and limitations, and references. Yeah, and questions here at the end. Okay, the purpose of the study. Why I decided to choose this topic. As you know, I am from a Latin American country, so what is Colombia? So I feel really interested in this issue because we can see that the political, the socioeconomic, and the development of the Latin American countries have been decreasing in a minimum wage. So I would like to show to the people who can have accessibility to this research what are the circumstances, what this issue is going on, what the government is doing to overcome this situation. And one of the main questions that I am focused is the issue that most of the Latin American countries are composed by a long landscape, and they have a lot of natural resources. So it's not normal that countries with this capability are suffering this kind of situation. Okay, I have 3 questions. Which social class is the most affected by these issues? How the social inequality is related to the racial discrimination? What are the strategies that the government is using to overcome that problem? This is the main focus of my research. This is the contribution of the study. Why this is important to political field? This current situation of social inequality in Latin America is important to the field of political science because it's showing us a long perspective of what's going on, how people is suffering unemployment, how people is not achieving they don't have accessibility to healthcare. There are many children in the streets. We have a lot of down ratio of people going to schools. We have a lower achievement of education. So if we want to be a particular zone of the American continent with a low development, it's important to achieve all those issues. And it's important to get more attention from the people in power in order to fix this important gap. Which methodology I will use? I choose a quantitative analysis because most of the information that I select is based on statistic information, data analysis. So in that way, how I find the information through surveys, articles, news, speeches from people like politicians. I also use information from websites, Benedict College library, among other important scholars. Okay, what is my research design? I use a case study design, which is related to the in-depth study of a particular research problem. So basically what this says is that the case study is focused on one issue, and they try to explain in a more wide way what is going on in the issue. So as you say, the situation is the impact on inequality in Latin American countries. So that's the case study, and that's why I choose this design. You can continue. I said before, the data collection, most of the information will be from speeches, research studies, political and economic institutions like the World Bank, NGOs, national non-governmental organizations. All their information will be found through Google Scholar, Benedict College library. And also, I use this data collection because it will help me to get more information in an accurately way. So that's why I can continue. The data analysis. How I will be analyzing this data. We have to interpret what's going on in the issue. We have to go inside of different countries. Latin America has 27 countries, so I had to go and look what's going on, for example, in Brazil, in Chile. Those are the countries that are really increasing the minimum wage. So they are part of the rising countries. So they are nominated like the countries of the future. And also, for example, in the case of Argentina, Colombia, my country, Peru, Bolivia, they are living in extreme poverty. So where we can see that social classes like the lower poor and middle class, they are completely differentiated among the upper class. So this is an issue that I had to be really focused on the paper. For example, I found that the World Bank, as I said before, Brazil has a minimum a rise of 0.58 GDP, gross development product. Chile is going down like 0.54. So these two countries are the ones that are increasing. Conversely, in created nation, the top this decile gets 29% of the aggregate salary. So what this tells us is that the upper class is the class that is getting more of the money or more of the salaries that the middle and the lower class are rising. So we can see that differentiation, and that way it's not easy for the poor people bring something to home. So we can see, for example, many families in extreme poverty, they cannot have accessibility to better opportunities like jobs or a better employment. So that's made it really hard for those families to achieve or have development in their life. You say these are the countries that have the better quality of life, like Chile, Brazil, Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico, Argentina. The GNI list in the UN Development report that in 2007 were Haiti with 59.5, Colombia with 58.5, Bolivia with 58.2, Honduras with 55.3, Brazil with 55.0, and Panama with 54.9, as you can see in the graphic. You can continue. What I can recommend, you know, most of the information is not easily to get because most of the information is taken from articles from Latin American countries, and the data that I found here is a little bit limited. So it's not easy for a researcher to get information. So I would recommend to make more wide study about this issue because it's really important for the American continent because for nobody is new that the Latin American countries are giving too much to the superpowers like US or Mexico and other parts of the world. So what I mean by that is like we make a lot of importations from our products like coffee, rice, and among other natural resources that are really important nowadays. Strengths and limitations. The strengths are the structural factors that determine how inequalities such as gender or racial differentiation are produced can be analyzed. We have examples of political regimens, social communities, ethnicities, economic situations that can be selected to ensure that the result will be representative of the population studied. The limitations. The data collection is a little bit hard to be found, as I said before, because most of the information in this case is from Latin America, and the researcher has not enough accessibility to this type of information. And in this case, most of the issues that I found, for example, in Peru or Bolivia, are compared to the U.S., to cities in the U.S., so it's not easy for me to go and compare widely what I would like to find. So these are my limitations. These are my reference, the most, the most important resources, and yeah, if you have any question, can please ask me.
Do you think the difference in the social classes has to do more with the government there in Colombia, or is it more or less the people, the citizens who live there? You think more or less, are there any opportunities that are there that they are overlooking or not? You know.
What I can say, the people from Latin America is really hard work people, so we are always trying to look for better opportunities. For example, we have a lot of internationals that are coming to the U.S. and looking better ways for their families. But sometimes we can see cases of corruption where the politicians are not giving what they supposed to give to the people. So they start to promise, and they don't really do what they supposed to do. So I think that the problem is that at the moment of the elections, the people are not really going to vote. And if you have this right to go and vote and select a real good person that can achieve what you really deserve, this is not the case. For example, in Colombia, we can see that the majority of the society in my country is young generation, young people. So they are not really interested in what the issue is. So I think that the problem is from the education. Like probably the education should be more focused on giving them giving courses or capacity, the possibility of helping them to understand what the problem is from inside. Because if we have people more encouraged about the issue, it would be better and easier for us to fix or close the gap that is really critical in Latin America.